Good morning, students. We have already learned aggregate demand. Now, and while learning aggregate demand, we know we were the consumer, and all the total number of consumer together forms aggregate demand. Correct? But here now, while learning aggregate of supply, means we are treating ourselves now as a supplier, but not a one supplier. I'm not talking about individual supply. I'm talking about many suppliers in a market, in an economy, in a country. Is what we are learning now. Because when we are talking about aggregation, we are talking about the totality of the supply. Now see, money value of final goods and services that all the producers are willing to supply in an economy in a given period of time. Now this particular meaning itself clearly states that aggregate supply means number of sellers, suppliers means you are treating yourself as a supplier or the producer. Producer can be a supplier also. So you are treating yourself as a producer or supplier. So all the producers in an economy means in a country, number of producers or the number of suppliers plus other important thing, in an economy means one particular country willing to supply their goods in a one particular time, means in a year, in an accounting year. Because a country as a whole, we treat the what is the total goods are supplied in an economy. How will calculate this? For whole year, whatever goods are produced by you or supplied by you will be together added and we get the aggregate supply. So keep in mind, as a supplier yourself, what is the meaning of aggregate supply is the money value of final goods and services. Final goods and services we already learned yesterday, am I right? The money value of final goods of services means the finished goods that all the producers are willing to supply in an economy at a given period of time is what aggregate supply. So meaning is very much clear to you now. 2-3 points are very important. I'll repeat this. Number of buyers, number of suppliers. Number 2, their willingness to supply in a one particular period of time is what the aggregate supply. So if you learn the aggregate supply, then of course you can understand the aggregate supply is what? Total of national income. Now what is the national income exactly? The total money value of all the final goods and services produced in an economy in a given period of time is what the national income. What is the national income? Total money value of all the goods and services produced by, you can add now, produced by all the sectors, primary, secondary, tertiary, in an economy in a given period of time, means one accounting year, that together we call it as a aggregate supply or national income. So aggregate supply is what? Is equal to the national income only. There is no change. Understood? Assuming that only consumption and savings. I told you, in aggregate demand also we assume consumption and savings. Here also national income and aggregate supply we assume only consumption and savings. We are not assuming net income, net export. We are not assuming government expenditure or government income here in this case. That we are not taking into consideration. Got it? So aggregate supply and national income is also equal to the consumption plus savings. Just like what we have learned here, aggregate supply means national income. So aggregate supply and national income is equal to consumption plus saving. Look at the schedule. It is clearly states the same what we have learned in the aggregate demand. Same here. The income of yours, that is supply, and the consumption expenditure, whatever you are expending. Now what is your consumption expenditure? Expenditure for raw material, expenditure for wages, for the laborers, interest for loan if you are taken, rent that you are paying for your factors of production. Correct? All this together is what? Your consumption expenditure, that is the cost of the good, and then When you sell it, you get a certain profit. That will be your saving. Am I right? So that saving, and then together consumption plus saving is equal to aggregate supply. Again similar thing, you will be adding this, you will get aggregate supply. So students, here the similar what we have learned in earlier topic also, here also same thing. There is nothing different. As your income goes on increasing, your consumption will increase and your savings will also increase. Simultaneously, your aggregate supply will also goes on increasing. Here, particularly at the initial stage, aggregate income is 0, but still your consumption is 40. And how it is 40, that you know very well. Earlier we learned in case of the demand also. But as a supplier, when you spend money from your reserves, you don't have getting any income for starting the business. But that money you will have to come on, which you are invested, is goes from your savings. So here is a minus 40. So what is the aggregate supply or an income? Is nothing for you, because we are spending whatever from your reserves only, means you are reducing your reserves, your savings here. That is why here I have minus this 40 from your consumption and expenditure, and this is how you got the aggregate supply is also 0 and income is also 0. So income and aggregate supply are equal. Further, when your income increase after starting your business initially, first you find no profit, nothing, correct, because no savings. Instead you are using your own savings and you have to get it back, and it's not your income, therefore you are reducing from the consumption. But when income increases further, your consumption increase, as you know the rules very well. When you personally also as an individual supplier, when your income increase, your consumption expenditure will also get increased. But the time comes when the income and consumption expenditure is equal, that is 200 rupees and 200 rupees. You don't have to use your savings. You don't use your savings, because you know whatever I spend, I am getting as income. Your income and consumption is same. That time you are not able to save anything and not using your personal savings also. Therefore, your aggregate supply remains the same, means there is no profit, no loss in this aggregate supply. But the further with the 300, your consumption is less. So here you are getting the profit, that is a part of your savings, 20 rupees, and remaining is 280, that is your consumption expenditure for producing the goods. Plus 20 you are earning extra. And so together, as you know rules, we are adding them. So 280 plus 20, 300. So this is your aggregate supply. Simultaneously, at each level, consumption level, you see, will be lesser than your income. Means your income goes on increasing now after some periods. Correct? Producer initial suffer loss. That you can see. He suffered loss. He is not earning anything. Instead, he is using his own personal money. Correct? But now he is earning more money because his consumption expenditure cost of all the factors of production is less than income. So he earns 40 rupees, then he earns 60, 80, which is his savings. And so together, if you add them, you get the equal to the income. So aggregate supply is equal to your income. Similarly, same things I have drawn here on this graph. You can see in the graph at the y-axis there is a savings, x-axis there is a income, and the same aggregate I have drawn on this, plotted on this particular curve. As it is, when it is 0 income, aggregate supply is also 0. See, at the 0 level. Am I right? So in this way you can see that your aggregate supply is moving upward from the losses to the profit, upward. Correct? So your aggregate supply and income at all level are equal. You can see that. So this is what students you have learned about aggregate supply schedule and aggregate supply curve. So this is what are about, students. Thank you very much.